homicide rates and gunfire shaking Indianapolis neighborhoods on a nearly daily basis.
It's spiraling out of control.
No one should be subjected to this.
Stop the violence, put the guns down.
Law enforcement leaders calling for an overhaul of our court system.
What we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, is not working. It is not working.
All the while, the cost of living is skyrocketing as downtown Indy seeks to return to its former glory. Now, two men campaigning to lead the Circle City. Mayor Joe Hogsett aiming for a third term while defending his record as former Councilman Jefferson Shreve makes campaign promises to shake up the system. For the next hour, they answer your questions about the future of our city. The Indianapolis mayoral debate starts right now. And welcome to Debate Night in Indianapolis here on Fox 59 and CBS 4. I'm your moderator, Dan Spieler. We're now less than 2 weeks away from the November elections. And the biggest race on the ballot this year is for Indianapolis mayor. We have the two candidates here with us in our studio tonight. Incumbent Democratic Mayor Joe Hogsett and his Republican challenger, Jefferson Shreve. It's both great to have you both with us here. Tonight's debate will focus on three key areas that our viewers have asked a lot of questions about this year: crime and public safety downtown and economic development. But before we get to those questions, a quick rundown of the rules. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to answer a given question. If we have a follow-up question or if a rebuttal is warranted, the candidate will have 30 seconds. 15 seconds may be provided for any clarifications are needed, and you'll hear this bell ring when time is up. So with that, we are ready to begin. Mayor Hogsett, I'll start with you. You're seeking a third term as mayor amidst a number of challenges that our city faces. Why should voters in Indianapolis put you back in office another 4 years?
Well, Dan, thank you for the question. Thanks to Fox 59 and IBJ for sponsoring tonight's debate. In short, I want the opportunity to finish the job that we began 8 years ago. We inherited a $50 million structural budget deficit that we cleared up. We've had 7 consecutive budgets that were fully funded and fully balanced. We've added 700 new police officers to IMPD and seen 16% reductions in murders for the last 2 years. $9 billion in projected investment in the downtown and throughout the city. $1.2 billion long-term infrastructure plan for our city. $200 million for parks and greenways. That's a lot of accomplishment and a lot of positive progress. And I'd like the opportunity to continue to lead to get the job done.
Mr. Shreve, why do you think voters should put you into office as our next mayor instead?
Because respectfully, I don't believe that the citizens agree with the mayor that our city has moved in the right direction over the last 4 or 8 years from a public safety standpoint. And public safety is the challenge of the day and has been for the last several years. We are on track for a 4th year with homicides up around the 200 level. We weren't there before. And 2/3 of those homicides go unsolved. Just 8 years ago, the homicide solve rate was over 80%. We don't have nearly the strength on the IMPD that we have funded and authorized. We don't retain that talent. It's a leadership deficit. The mayor has had 34 years of running for office or serving for office. I've had 34 years in business and some government experience. I'm convinced that it's time for a change, and I aim to bring that change to the citizens of Indianapolis.
All right, we're going to focus on crime and public safety specifically here in this first portion of the debate. It's something that our viewers have told us matters to them more than anything else this year, including an issue that's really come to the forefront here in recent days. We're talking about police shootings happening at a rate that IMPD calls unprecedented. There was one earlier this week and again another just within the last hour or so. In this case tonight, we understand the officer was grazed and the suspect is in critical condition. But this makes 10 incidents like this since the start of August. So far, 6 of these shootings have been deadly. And while each of these situations is different, community faith activists are now calling for a DOJ investigation into IMPD's practices.
We need more people to be willing to speak up and say, this is not what we want for law enforcement in Indianapolis. We must put in place resources to prevent it from happening.
So Mayor Hogsett, in response to all of that here, we'll start with you. Do you support these calls to investigate or reform IMPD in the wake of these shootings?
Well, the truth is we have implemented during my tenure unprecedented steps for greater accountability and transparency regarding IMPD. We have implemented a use of force policy. We have made progress with majority civilian support for our use of force review board. We have now made our general orders committee subject to civilian majorities. And as a result, I think have made the process of investigation of police action shootings or any use of force more transparent and more accountable than has ever been the case in the history of the city of Indianapolis. This administration has done that, and I'm proud of that accomplishment. And so I would welcome any kind of input. I used to work for the Department of Justice, and I know them quite well. But the fact is, I welcome any kind of questions that need to be answered.
Mr. Shreve, your response to that, and does this concern you to see this happening at such an alarmingly frequent rate?
Oh, greatly. I mean, this 10th incident yet this evening is evidence of that. We need a department that has all the tools of transparency at their disposal, both for the protection of our citizens and our officers that serve our community. And the administration has been slow to adopt those tools. I was served on the IMPD Body Camera Commission 8 years ago. We were one of the last departments in our state to implement body cameras. We have dash cameras on 24 squad cars today. We've got some in the budget for next year, but we've been slow to adopt these tools that abet that transparency that Mayor Hogsett just spoke of. We are behind the times in the utilization of those very tools that will be helpful in incidents such as this tragic one that we have. And I'm certain that part of this is underpinned in the shortage of police staffing. They're in a defensive crouch and very jittery in their work.
And we'll get into that in just a moment, too. I also want to ask a quick follow-up here. Mr. Mayor, what about liability for the city? We uncovered some numbers recently showing the city spent more than $16 million on settlements with IMPD from 2015 to 2020. So a quick follow-up here. Might the city potentially be on the hook for a number of additional settlements this year? Mr. Mayor, you have 30 seconds on this.
Well, I can't predict what ensues in terms of litigation. I do know that we are oftentimes involved in it, and we defend it. We defend our officers where that is appropriate with real vigor. If there are incidents that would better serve the taxpayers by being settled, then we do so. We do what is right for all the right reasons.
Okay, more broadly here on crime and policing, you've both made campaign promises to put more police officers on the street. Mr. Shreve just referenced that. As of this week, IMPD reports it has just over 1,500 sworn officers on duty. 300 officers or so fewer than the department's budget calls for. That was also a big part of the new budget just passed by the council. So let's take a question here from one of our viewers, and it's directed toward you first here, Mr. Shreve, from Stephanie McCarthy, who asks, police departments are shorthanded nationwide. What solutions do you have to solve a problem no one else seems able to solve? Mr. Shreve, what's your response to that?
Well, I would acknowledge that the problem is acute, but acutely more so for the IMPD than other police departments in our state, and that the IMPD is losing veteran talent to departments on the periphery of Indianapolis or beyond, or those that are just leaving the profession. The challenge isn't fiscal. I served on the IMPD Staffing Commission. I served on the council when we provided the money to up the number of staff positions. The challenge is leadership or a lack of leadership with which to support the men and women on our force so they choose to work for the capital city's police department. It should be a point of pride to serve in the Department of Indiana's only first-class city, but far too many vote with their feet and go to work for other departments.
Mayor Hogsett, what is your response to that, and what's your plan to fill those open positions? You've budgeted for them now, but actually filling them has been a challenge. How do you make it happen?
Well, Dan, we are being very aggressive in the recruiting process. I'm proud to report that we have raised the first and second year officer salaries When I first took office, a first-year officer, for example, was making $39,000 a year. Currently, they make $72,000 a year. That's an 85% increase. We're giving our veteran officers retention bonuses. We are recruiting vigorously, not only here in Indianapolis, not only in Indiana, but throughout the country. And we believe that providing as good a benefits and as good a package of salaries will help us recruit officers. And then with collective bargaining coming up next year, we'll enter into a new collective bargaining agreement with the FOP that I think will be favorable. And we have the largest budget in the history of Indianapolis provided for IMPD. I'm proud of that, and I'm proud that it passed unanimously.
All right, and as we talk about crime tonight and also guns, let's go to another question here from one of our viewers. It comes from Christine Orr. She wants to know, how will you control the gun violence in Indianapolis? She says it's out of control. She says our community needs safety from retaliation. Mayor Hogsett, I'll start with you here, 60 seconds. What can the city do about gun violence, specifically with numbers that have really been dramatically on the rise in recent years, sometimes impacting our youth as well?
Well, first and foremost, we implemented a 3-year, $150 million anti-crime, anti-violence effort, due in no small measure by monies made available by the American Rescue Plan. So that's a beginning. We've had peacemakers and violence interrupters spread out throughout the community. And frankly, we're also leading the way in gun safety, prospective gun safety legislation, where we would raise the age that one could purchase a weapon. We would do away with concealed carry. We would do away with permitless carry. And we would ban the sale of any kind of military-style assault weapons. In my estimation, the only people who ought to be carrying those guns around are soldiers. And I think that in doing those things, we can reduce crime and gun violence.
Mr. Shreve, same question for you. What's your plan to control gun violence in Indianapolis?
We clearly have too many illegal guns in the hands of folks that should not have them, be they underage or criminals, people with criminal history. We have a revolving door that we hear about in Marion County time and again of people that commit violent offenses with handguns that are not prosecuted and serve time. The system is broken. The men and women of the IMPD do their job, but the rest of the system, the prosecutor or the judiciary with consistency, is not doing its job. We need to get the illegal guns out of the hands of those that should not have them in this community. I do support harmonizing the lawful age of gun purchase at 21, and I do support the permit requirements for concealed carry of weapons, which we did repeal last year. I would have been persuaded by the testimony of Superintendent Doug Carter and our IMPD chief in keeping those elements in place.
There's been a lot of discussion about both of your plans involving gun violence. I want to follow up on that here briefly. You've both proposed policies that would require state lawmakers to change some laws to allow them to take effect here at the local level. So, Mr. Shreve, 30 seconds here in this follow-up question. You've promised you'll try to work with lawmakers at the State House, but how do you plan to achieve that and get lawmakers to go along with some of the positions that you just laid out when it comes to guns and crime?
Well, the mayor has to recognize the reality of the way the state is organized constitutionally, and there is that preemption element that exists. And so it's not helpful to put forward an ordinance that doesn't have the effect of law, that is overridden by the state's preemption requirement. And so you do that by prioritizing those elements to give Indianapolis those controls that are specific to our challenges in Marion County. Put them at the top of your legislative priorities package and go into the start of the session to lobby for them.
Okay. Mayor Hogsett, 30 seconds for you here as well. What are your plans to get state lawmakers to go along with any of these gun policies that you've suggested, or to repeal permitless carry as you've called for? How do you actually make that happen?
Well, it has to be underscored that we're not asking for the state legislature to change the law for the entire state. Legislators from outside the city of Indianapolis may have good reason to want to keep in place those types. I'm simply the mayor of Indianapolis, and I'm asking that these changes be made because Indianapolis is a fundamentally different, more densely populated city, unlike any other city in the state of Indiana. And that's why these proposals have been restricted just to Indianapolis.
Another issue that's come up here in recent years is the judicial system. Several law enforcement leaders have been asking for harsher punishments for offenders in Marion County, including Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter, who voiced some of his concerns in an exclusive interview with us last month.
When is enough enough? At what point are we going to say, stop, shake up the Etch-a-Sketch, we've got to clear the slate. This isn't working. This level of accountability is not working.
Mayor Hogsett, your opponent had called on you to support the superintendent's proposed review. 60 seconds here. Do you think something needs to change with the courts and judicial system? And would you, as mayor, propose such a change?
Well, first of all, I want to underscore Doug Carter is a great public servant, and he's a dear friend of mine who I've known for many years, worked with him very closely, and I respect his opinion. Now, the truth is, many of the things that Doug is talking about in terms of transforming criminal justice involve the judiciary. In Marion County, those people are selected by the governor and a separately elected prosecutor. I focus as mayor on those elements of public safety over which I, as mayor, have control. And so in response to Doug's suggestions, I always welcome his suggestions. I listen to them and would be willing to work very closely with him to implement them. I'm just simply pointing out that much of what Doug finds wrong with the system really doesn't involve the mayor's control, but really is prosecutorial and judicial in nature.
Mr. Shreve, 60 seconds for you as well. You have called for that reform. How would you change the system at all if given the opportunity?
Yeah, well, I agree with the superintendent in the position that he has taken, and I think it's something of a cop-out for any mayor to say, these other elements are beyond my control. If it relates to the safety and well-being of the citizens of the city that you're going to lead, you've got to use your mouthpiece and your heft to get the system to work together. You've got to communicate, talk to your prosecutor. You've got to communicate with the judiciary. You've got to get the ecosystem of public safety working together, rather than saying, look, that's not my lane, not my responsibility. If it relates to the safety of the citizens of this city, it will be my responsibility.
Another question here from a viewer, and it's a topic that we've heard from a lot of our viewers, talking about the social justice protests that descended into riots in downtown Indy in 2020. That violence left businesses and some public infrastructure damaged. Mayor Hogsett, several viewers, including Chris Walden, submitted questions asking what you were doing during the unrest in 2020. At the debate you had on Monday, you said you were working from home. Local Republicans responded saying they wanted to see some evidence or proof that was the case. What's your response to that? And do you have any regrets about not being more visible that weekend in 2020?
Well, I answered the question last Monday night when it was offered, and I'll be glad to answer it again. I worked all weekend long, Monday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Sometimes that was at home. I thought that Phil Sanchez's question was specifically directed toward where I was on Friday night, which was working at home. But I came into the office, worked on the 25th floor, literally all day Saturday, meeting with groups of not only protesters, but also law enforcement officials. I was over at the emergency operations headquarters on several occasions. I was holding press conferences to help the public understand what was happening and why it was happening. And so that was an incredibly difficult but busy weekend. Do I have one regret over and above any other? It's not walking around the downtown with Russ McQuaid of Fox 59 when he asked me to at 7 o'clock Saturday morning.
Mr. Shreve, 60 seconds for your response to that. What would you have done differently?
My response would have been quite different. I'd have been on the scene. I would have led. I would have been visible. I would have been communicative with the leadership of the IMPD. I would be right downtown where the riots were occurring and the property destruction was where we let our officers stand aside by their orders. We ordered them not to do that which they are trained to do. And that was scarring. It's had long-term consequences to the morale of the IMPD. It is certainly a factor in the losses that we've had of officers. And do I just buy into that notion that I'm going to work from home in an incident like that? Mayor Shreve would be on the scene right downtown in the Mile Square.
Mayor Hogsett, 30 seconds for a rebuttal, if you wish.
Jefferson, you obviously weren't listening to what I was saying. I was not working from home the entire weekend. In fact, most of the weekend, I was on the 25th floor. I was meeting with law enforcement officials. And frankly, that's exactly what a mayor can and should do. And that's exactly what I did. It's important to underscore as well, no one was ever ordered to stand aside. That simply did not happen. Were orders given to stand back and give the protesters some room? I believe they were, and I think it, for the time being, helped the situation.
It's certainly a situation that a lot of our viewers have been asking about. We're going to be taking more questions from our viewers tonight, but right now we need to take a quick break as we continue our discussion about downtown Indianapolis. Straight ahead as the Indianapolis mayoral debate continues.